What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Bundesliga Career Mode. This is episode number 72. We started today's episode off on the back of our win at the Signal Iduna Park against Borussia Dortmund. We are one win away from winning the title in March, which I don't think is something I've ever done before, but that just pays homage to the dominance we've been in the Bundesliga this season. We've won every single game apart from two, and just the one defeat, which of course came on match day 4. So beat Mainz on the weekend, we'll be crowned champions in March, which again, I don't think I've ever pulled off ever before. In April, yeah, but I can't remember winning the title as early as month of March before. Still, before we get there, there's a small matter of this. Champions League, last 16, second leg, AC Milan. And for as good as we've been in the Bundesliga this season and domestically in general, in the Champions League, we got for our group a perfect 6 wins out of 6. But in the first leg of the first knockout round, well, let's just say we were ambushed at the San Siro. Managed to get a draw, 2-2, but I certainly wasn't at my best after giving away that late penalty, which Milan levelled from. The tie was in the balance heading back to the Stuka Arena, and it was the worst possible start as we know. As we know, no away goals in European ties now, so the goals we scored did not count for double. And starting the game off, AC Milan took a very early lead. Chip ball over the top. Is this FIFA 14? And the header past Zach Steffen into the back of the net saw Milan take the very early lead in this game. And I was thinking, okay, alright, they showed it to San Siro off. They took the lead through Rafael Leao and scored that stoppage time penalty. They've clearly got what it takes to get goals against me, but I scored 2 at the San Siro, and we've been the top scorers domestically in the Bundesliga this season as well. So I knew I'd be able to get back in the game at some point. Almost from kickoff we would do that. A couple of great saves by Mike there kept the score at 1-0. But again, despite Milan taking the early lead, I didn't panic, I didn't worry, I didn't fret. I knew I'd find a level at some point, and just a few minutes later we would. Marco Ludwig sent down the right hand side. I think he's 84 rated now, Marco Ludwig, and it's crazy. Like, you think of our academy grads in this team, it's funny, but the one player that I thought would end up being the star is now on the bench. That's Schuster, the goalkeeper. But I think it's because that player development this year is really quick for your outfield players, especially if they're in great form. But goalkeepers are rarely ever in great form, even when they're keeping several clean sheets. The match rating system is very harsh on goalkeepers, and when you play against the AI on Ultimate, because they don't save that many shots on average, their rating is very rarely high, and so their development is not as high as an outfield player's, because their form and their rating game after game is not going to be as high. But Ludwig and Schaefer have been really big players out of the academy in this team, particularly Constantine, and for the 42nd minute here, they got involved in the build-up for our second goal. Despite Milan taking the lead, again, I wasn't panicking, I wasn't worrying. I knew I'd get back on level terms, and I knew I'd probably get in front at some point as well, and we would. Suat Serdar, who has been a brilliant bargain buy from Hertha Berlin. He's replaced Jonas Hoffmann in our bench in this team. He's up to 81 overall, I think it is now, possibly 82 overall, but 5 goals in 8 in the Champions League. He's one of our top scorers in Europe this season. He has been a brilliant bench player for us this season, and that's why in the Champions League games, you've seen it, Schaefer will start, but Florian Neuhaus gets left out of the squad. I prefer Serdar in Europe, because 5 goals in 8 speaks for itself. So in front for the first time on the night in this game, but 44 minutes in, oh my goodness gracious me, Marco Ludwig might have scored our leveler early, but he just got done by Rafael Leao. No surprise he puts his hands on his head. Nutmegged, ball worked into the middle, and eventually Milan find their leveler on the night. So 2-2 in what was a brilliant first leg, a brilliant first half in what had been a brilliant tie thus far. And on the stroke of the hour mark, still tied at 2-2. Defensively, I was having clear problems like I've had for most of the series, but going forward, I kept on slicing Milan open. I knew there were more goals in this game, and there were. On the stroke of the hour mark, we'll get our third. DeMarco, who just came off the bench, rolls it through to Josip Brekalo, and the man that single-handedly won us to Europa League 2 years ago. Might be a bench attacking midfielder now in place of Vlasic, but I started him in this game, and he bagged our third on the night. Bielefeld 3, Milan 2, and after a crazy tie, 5-4 over 2 legs, we held on in the final half an hour and claimed the victory. So 3-2 on night, 5-4 over 2 legs, and we are through to the Champions League quarters. And one of those games again where, like, I wasn't panicking because I was in control for the most part. You see the stats there. Milan took 2 shots in the game. They scored with both. It's so common. And what I was alluding to earlier with goalkeeper form is just that. Goalkeepers don't save that many shots. I should say your goalkeepers don't save that many shots because of how accurate the AI on Ultimate shots are. So they're very rarely in what you'd call good form. And that's one of the reason Schuster never developed like Schaefer and Ludwig did, despite all the starts he got in this team in the past 3 years of the save. Still, as you can see, making it through the Champions League last 16, there is our draw. And we're going back to the San Siro. Inter knocked out Borussia Dortmund in the last 16. So we're the only German team remaining. Man City versus Lyon, Atletico versus Villarreal, all Spanish affair, all English affair, Arsenal versus Liverpool. And we're traveling to the San Siro for the first leg of the Champions League quarterfinals. So Inter Milan away from home in the first leg. And sandwiched in between that as well is going to be Bayern Munich. And you might think, well, it shouldn't mean too much to you because you're 22 points clear with 8 games to go. You know the championship's yours. And you know me, I'm always like, oh, well, mathematically, there's still a chance. Not this season. The championship's mine. I already know that. We've got a chance to win it here in our final game of March as well. Beat Mainz here on match day 27, and that will guarantee it, despite what the teams in second and third do. But even so, the points record is, of course, what we're going for in the Bundesliga this year. 91 is the current record set by Bayern Munich several years ago. And I'd imagine going away to the Allianz Arena, where we've only beaten them once in the entire series, that came in the first half of this season. Let's just say they have extra incentive to stop us from winning that game there and stop our charge towards the points record. So yeah, that's sandwiched in between the Inter Milan tie. Looking forward to that though. And just like against AC Milan, I'm expecting a really tight battle, which could go either way. Though I would say we're probably slight favourites based on how dominant we've been this season domestically. So yeah, second game, odds days have certain a chance to win the title in March, which still sounds bizarre because I don't think I've ever done that before, but starting the game off, what a beginning. I was praising Suat Serdar a moment ago for his goal against Milan and 5 and 8 in the Champions League. Well, for Florian Neuhaus, 5 and 25 this season. For Neuhaus as well, you know, I mentioned last season when I signed him from Mönchengladbach for what was a club record fee at the time of 61 million, I said, you know, I bought the guy in as a deep line playmaker for ball retention more than anything. But I'll be honest, I was slightly underwhelmed last season with Neuhaus. Only 2 goals and 2 assists all season long. Well, this year, let's just say he has stepped it up. A few more assists and 5 goals as well. A glorious strike there opened the scoring. And then 10 minutes before the break, after Zach Steffen made a really important save, Theodor Hubner says to Florian Neuhaus, you can bend one in with the right, I'll bend one in with the left, and we'll go 2 goals up before the break. Hubner's one of those players in this team that just blows hot and cold. Every now and then he's useless, he just doesn't get involved whatsoever, he goes missing. Every now and then I can do stuff like this with him. He's been such a weird signing. Like when I picked him on a free transfer, of course he was a central base player initially. I couldn't work out whose regen his was, but being a left-footed player, I saw the potential of him being an inside forward on the right. And he's one of those players who, again, like he's just so hot and cold. Like sometimes he's fantastic and he can do things like that. Other times I just can't do anything with him. I'm sure you got players like that in your career modes as well, where like there are some games where he's unplayable. There are other games where like you just can't get going with them whatsoever. But even so, he made it 2-0. Mainz would half the deficit right before the break, but really wasn't in any danger of throwing away these 3 points. Just like against AC Milan, whilst the goal difference was only 1 in the game, for the most part, I felt like in complete control in this one. I never really felt as though I was in any danger. And whilst I often say I never feel too comfortable leading by 1, in FIFAs like this, it can sometimes be okay because you know that it's a goal glut this year. Like that's how this FIFA goes. It's just complete goal glut, goal fest, game after game. And occasionally you'll have the scraping 1-0. Occasionally you might have a 1-1 draw, but for the most part it's just goal fest, goal fest, goal fest. And if you are one of the best offensive teams and you've got a really quick team as well, I talk about how pace is so important in FIFA, and let's be honest, it always will be from now on. It's just the way the game goes. You know you're going to get multiple chances to extend the lead and even get back in front if you surrender it. So yeah, a 2-1 victory there at home in the final game of March. I have to keep on reminding myself of that because, you know, obviously I talk about it a lot, you know, being on YouTube for well over a decade now. There are so many things that I've done and there are so many things that I've repeated. There aren't actually, I mean, there are still quite a few things I'm yet to do in the game mode, which is what keeps me enjoying it so much, knowing that it's not all completed. You see the stats, this is what I was talking about. 12 shots compared to Mike's 2. Felt very confident winning this game when they cut it to 1 before the break. But I don't think I've ever won the title in March before. Definitely not in the Bundesliga in a 34 game season, that's for sure. But doing it with 7 games to spare, again, in March, it's a bit of an anticlimactic retention of the title this season because, of course, that was our main aim heading into the season. Win the title and also for the first time in the save, win multiple honours in one season. We haven't done that yet, as I'll show you the full table here for the month of March. that's something we haven't done yet. We've won the Europa League 2 years ago, then last year we won the Bundesliga title, but it hasn't been a season to save so far. This is our 5th, where we've won multiple honours in the same season. This year I was hoping for a league title retention and either one of the DFB Pokal or the Champions League. Realistically, they seem as difficult as each other because of my poor form domestically, so I should say in the Cup, since the save began, but even so, that was my main aim this season. 1 is down, and again, it's been quite anticlimactic because we've just walked to the title, and whilst Bayern have had a better season than last year, where they finished in mid-table, I think there's no doubt about it now as I show you the 4 youth players I promote from the academy here. Get them out of the academy, no point in leaving them in there now as we're coming towards the end of the season. Yeah, like to me, we're the best team in Germany. You see me running through the squad here. We're a 5-star team. We've improved significantly with the sale of Kolo Muani and Draxler and Middlestat, but the replacements, Mukiele in the starting 11, Karim Adeyemi, who's now 86 or 87 rated off the bench. Yeah, we've got a phenomenal team, and obviously Serdar's been great as a replacement for Hoffman as well. So you see how fixtures coming April, there are 4 games in the Bundesliga, 3 away days, including Bayern, who, as you know, will be doing everything they can to stop us winning, setting the new points record. We've won the title, that's done, 7 games to go, it's in the bag already, but setting the new points record, if we get 5 wins and a draw in our last 7 games, we will do that. But there are some tough fixtures coming in this month of March, including Bayern away and Borussia Mönchengladbach as well. But for our first game of the month, Werder Bremen at home. I was thinking heading into this one, what we want is a big victory here and show we've got definitely a great chance of winning a treble this season, let alone a double, and setting the points record in the process as well. If I can do that, this will be my most dominant season of FIFA Career Mode I've had in many, many years. And it's, you know, obviously I can still win. I've said before this FIFA's been more challenging this year, which of course is one of the main reasons I really, really like it. But I can still win. I can still pick up silver after a few years, but dominating is something I can't do as much in this year's FIFA. I haven't had like a truly dominant season in this year's FIFA thus far. This has been the first one of the career modes I've done, and we've got a chance to be, again, as dominant as I've been for many, many years if I can do this, man. Winning a treble and setting a points record. I'm not sure I can do both. I'm not sure I could even win the treble, to be honest, but we've definitely got a chance. And if we play like this here against Werder Bremen, we've got every single chance. On the stroke of the hour mark, we went 3-0 up. Jamie Llewellyn to brace in the first stop, and then Karim Adeyemi came off the bench to get another. But did you see the ball from Florian Neuhaus? Talked about it after his goal against Mainz. He's been so much better this year. Look at this for a through ball. Oh, perfectly weighted, threaded the needle. That looks so beautiful. You know I'm a sucker for a nice assist. That was glorious there, especially on that camera angle. So, yeah, leading by 3 on Werder Bremen, and with 12 minutes to go, a chance to put the icing on the cherry on the cake, as I used to say, and we would. Konstantin Schäfer just about managed to squeeze this one in there. Almost messed it up. Trying to do one of those skill moves that never puts the goalkeeper off, but looks cool when it does come off, and I just about managed to squeeze it in with the pressuring defenders coming from behind. So, final score at the Weser Stadion, 4-0. Dominant display, and again, that points record, the title's been won, and the treble, still a definite possibility of pulling it off come the end of the season. Absolutely dominating this season. We've won the title in March. First time I think I've done that. And Lord knows, I really want this points record. 1 win done from the final 7 games. If we get another 4 and a draw, we will be champions. Having said that, easier said than done. Next game, Bayern Munich away, Allianz Arena, 2nd place. Desperate to get back in the Champions League after no European football this season and stop us from overtaking them for the points record. That's going to be a massive game at the Allianz. And I think come the end of the game there, we'll know whether we can set the points record or not this season. And of course, compete for the treble, because the next episode also features both legs of our Champions League quarter-final against Inter Milan. I'm so excited for all 3 games. But that will end today's episode off of the Bundesliga Career Mode, guys. Big fan for watching. Enjoyed it. If you haven't, like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. And I'll see you for the next episode of the Bundesliga Career Mode. Probably the biggest of the season so far. Very soon.